Well, it would seem apropos that the podcast, The Dance of Polarity and What's the Gift in the Shit Show, that I'd have to be experiencing a shit show so that I could walk my talk. What's the gift in the shit show? Well, my green card came apparently a month and a half ago. They said it would take 6 to 8 weeks, so I didn't go to check until it had been apparently delivered a month and a half ago, but to the wrong address. So finally, USPS has admitted or owned that they delivered it to the wrong address. They're sorry. It's my green card. The people that live there that it got delivered to don't remember getting it and said they would have brought it to the proper address if they could have. But I'm not even sure the friggin' immigration got it right, because now there's 3 addresses, all the way back in Wyoming, which apparently got forwarded, but then it got forwarded to the wrong address here. Anyways, I've just left a bunch of little love notes in a bunch of mailboxes. And then the gift in the shit show is to surrender. Surrender that I will, if we have to start from scratch, I'll get another one before I leave the country in July. And when I get back at the end of July, if I still don't have it and America doesn't want me, maybe I'm supposed to move back to Canada. Oh my God, just surrender to divine will. Holy shitters. Just keep showing up and letting go and practicing presence. Practice not blaming anybody doesn't do any good. Listening to my intuition and the experience of embodied calmness in the face of fear, frustration, all the rest of it. That's the work. Am I going to react to my frustration and fear, or am I going to integrate that, come back to calmness, get creative, and just be willing to start over? Today's also, the filming of this video is the day that Mercury retrograde went direct, so maybe that means it will directly land in my lap, and I just need to be patient. Fuck if I know. But anyways, just coming to you from reality as you listen to this podcast about what is the gift in the shit show as we dance with the polarities of life. Love you. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job. Hello and welcome to another episode of Intimate Conversations. Here we are, season 12, Become the One. This year, we've decided that so for the 10 months of the podcast, we're doing a different Allana Pratt method process as the theme to support you in what each of these different processes reveal so you can heal your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your body, your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your beloved, your kids, the people that are important to you. So today we're going to be talking about the dance of polarity. Polarity is there's pain over here and pleasure over here, dark and light, betrayal, forgiveness, this kind of thing. And another way of looking at that is, what is the gift in the shit show? Normally when there's a shit show, we don't see any gift. We only see half of reality, all the pain and the suffering, which is real. But if we're able to look at the other side of reality, where there's a benefit, a gift, an advantage, then we can actually see the whole picture. We can be in reality and we can shift our life. We can create a healing. So I've had my staff gather 3 of your questions for me to answer today for you. And the first one is around finding harmony in conflict. One sentence that has 2 crazy words: conflict over here, harmony over here, polarity. The question is, in relationships, Allana, conflict and stark polarities can often seem overwhelming. How can couples find the gifts hidden within these tense moments? Can you share examples of how embracing conflict can lead to deeper understanding and deeper intimacy? Absolutely. So I literally just got off a coaching call with one of my clients who I've been with for, maybe about 3 years or so now. It's been really tough. Her daughter took her life. Her and her boyfriend, who are the age of grandparents, are now taking care of little ones. So not only are they dealing with the grief of the loss of their daughter, they are dealing with the stress and overwhelm of the rug being pulled out from underneath them. Here they are ready to retire, and they're starting over with two little ones to raise. Stress is high, overwhelm is high, unfairness is high, grief is high, conflict is high, anger at the divine is high. And so they have this pattern that happens, this pattern of conflict where something will occur. She tends to not express. He tends to overexpress. So he'll get really frustrated and she'll shut down. And that is like the short version of the conflict. And they both go into they both have triggered each other's wounds as they are dealing with reacting to a circumstance. And the pattern, the dance continues. And they see each other as the problem. Because, well, they did something and now I'm triggered. They did something and now I'm triggered. So blame, blame, blame. And it's creating so much separation at a time when they need to have each other's back more than ever. And so I suggested, what if each other is not the enemy? What if the pattern, the dance, the vortex you get into together is actually, if there is going to be an enemy, the enemy or the issue? And so we don't have to be facing each other like this. We can be side by side looking at the pattern. The pattern is the problem, not each other. And when they began to go, oh yeah, then when you're on the same team, looking at the issue being the pattern, the way in which we get into this dance, this vortex, then we can stop blaming each other. We can hopefully stop blaming ourselves, but we can go within and start doing the own individual integration work. And we can have like a code word for when the pattern is happening, and we can have a new pattern interrupt of what we're going to do when we notice that we are doing our old song and dance. And so I suppose the good news about conflict, the benefit, what's the gift in the shit show of conflict, is it's just showing us where we're still not in allowance, where we're still defending, where we're still needing to be right or in control, where we're still blaming the other, rather than diving into our own self-ownership, diving into our own, what is triggered within me, that they're just the catalyst, right? What is still unintegrated, unprocessed, unhealed within me. And so when we do that inner work, when we see conflict is not bad or wrong, and we can embrace it and no longer be in conflict with ourselves, but listen to ourselves, have compassion for ourselves, be curious with ourselves, feel the feelings with ourselves. When we can do that, then we can give that gift of curiosity to our partner. We can give that gift of acceptance, allowance to our partner. We can even start to be open to their point of view or their perspective being a contribution, as opposed to, I see it this way, you see it that way. But, well, what if I did see life that way? What else would be possible that's not possible now? We could be better together. I could have my point of view and your point of view, and we could create even a third point of view that's even more empowered than either of us alone. And then you start to go, oh, thank you, kind of, that you triggered me, even though that wasn't very comfortable, because I'm more now. I'm more integrated now. I'm more evolved now. We're stronger now. We are on the same team here. We're looking at life together, of like, how can we embrace challenge together and become even stronger? So that is one way that you can eventually find harmony within, so that you can find harmony within the partnership and no longer be afraid of conflict, no longer do the old pattern. Conflict doesn't need to stop you. And when you can do it there within your most innermost intimate relationships with yourself and with your partner, then out in life, when conflict happens, it doesn't need to make you go sideways. You're like, I can handle this. I got this. And you become more resilient, which then allows you to become more adventurous and empowered in life. Because when things go a little sideways, you don't need to check out. You don't need to blame. You don't need to close your heart. You can stay present. You can take that deep breath and go, you know what? I handle this in my relationship. I can handle this anywhere. Let's all take a deep breath. As we go on to the second question that was brought to my attention, this one's, the theme is around balancing emotional extremes. And the question is this: Allana, relationships often expose us to the extremes of our emotions. What advice do you have for couples to help them navigate these highs and lows without losing their connection or sense of self? How can they use these emotional swings to strengthen their bond rather than weaken it. Well, I really don't think these swings ever strengthen a relationship. Honestly, I don't. And I don't think these highs of a roller coaster, I'm really great and then I'm really depressed. I really love you and I really hate you. I don't think those highs and lows are healthy and create deeper bonds. I think they help, they make us out of control and lose our connection to self and other. So in terms of highs and lows, when the other is in a high or a low, is living with my poor boyfriend, living with me, a coach, you know, for me, I need to just like shut the fuck up and not fix, not coach. I need to be way more in allowance that he has his own timeline and way of processing. Mine is not better. I've been at this for decades. This is my job. So of course I can process faster. That doesn't make me better. And my job is to sit in the fire and be an allowance of him and his own time processing in his own way. So if your partner is in a high or a low, notice your propensity to avoid and hide. Notice your propensity to lean in and fix, and see if you could do neither. So instead of like pushing or avoiding, of which creates even more of an issue, can you just be in allowance? Doesn't mean you prefer it, doesn't mean you like it, but can you just be an allowance of your partner? Can you ask, how can I be right now that would support you? I don't want to talk. I want to talk, whatever. Can you listen? Can you allow? Can you give space? This will flush up your trust or lack of trust in life, in the divine, in your ability. Like, do I need all circumstances to be a certain way on the outside for me to be okay on the inside? It's going to flush up everything for you. That's the next part. So that's how you can be with the other. So with these highs and lows, how can you be with yourself? It's just showing you, if you can't stay present when an emotion occurs, you got work to do. So the other thing to navigate these emotional swings, these highs and lows, is to go, okay, I need to get a coach. I need to get a mentor. I need a men's group. I need a woman's circle. What is it? I need to learn how to integrate these unprocessed emotions, because they're just going to come up again and it's going to be worse. They're going to build upon one another. So if you keep putting that little fakey fake happy face on and spiritually bypassing, it's going to bite you in the ass. So it's an invitation to go, okay, I still have some anger that I don't want to admit is in there, but I got to integrate it. You know, I've got some self-hatred, some self-loathing, some self-criticism. I've never actually addressed it. I just keep pushing myself. I've got some insecurities where I'm still looking to be saved. Where's daddy? Like, you might still have a daddy wound or a mommy wound. I'm still looking to the outside for someone to be there for me to be okay on the inside. Whatever it is, it's probably not going to be pretty. So please don't judge yourself as you find these unintegrated wounds. Then you're judging your self-judgment. You're criticizing your self-criticism. You're shaming your self-shaming. Like, you're making it doubly worse. So do your best to be in allowance of what you find as you disengage from trying to fix your partner and stop trying to fix yourself. And fixing is different than integrating. Integrating is going, what's the gift in the shit show? What's the gift in being so fucking pissed off right now? So completely terrified. What's the gift in being so panicked? What's the gift in hating myself so much and not forgiving myself? What is the gift in this? Well, we learn forgiveness. We learn allowance. We learn so much when we go in and feel these feelings. Integration is really just about feeling that which we normally just run away from. Feeling all the way through to the end, that which we normally take a drink, go on social media, pretend we're fine when we're not, shut down, go get busy, work harder, go for 10 million runs, like whatever your addiction is. It's trying to cover up what you don't want to feel. What if there's gold at the other side of the most painful emotion you've ever felt? I wouldn't recommend going in there alone. I have my coaches. I am a coach. When you're going to go for that really difficult feeling, it's hard, in my opinion, to be both the banks of the river and the river at the same time. Banks of the river is the presence of a non-judgmental, unconditionally loving space holder, facilitator, not fixer, listener, someone that's just going to be with you and say, take me with you. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. You have every right to feel this. I'm right here. That would be the space holder. That would be the banks of the river so that you can be the river. 100% feel through everything. My experience is that feeling something 99.9% makes it worse. Isn't that awful? But it's true. If you don't match it, if you don't totally duplicate it, I often say to my clients, feel this at a 10 out of 10, feel it at a 12 out of 10, feel it all the way. Like I'm really encouraging them to feel all of it. Because if you just feel it a little bit, it makes it worse and it grows. And you've had all these great intentions of trying to integrate this and feel this, but you end up making it worse. It's got to be felt fully duplicated. See the image, think the thought, feel the emotion, feel the body sensation, all the ways that it's arising within you. Feel it all the way. And then all of a sudden it'll duplicate. And the autonomic nervous system will go through all the different emotions all the way back to an inner calm, not a calm by checking out, a calm that's on the inside, a peace that's not from just going la, 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 and checking out, disassociating. It's different. It's in the body. It's a heart open, grounded. Oh my God, I'm completely okay in the face of something that has always pissed me off. I might not like it, but I'm right here and I'm okay. And I can even feel into the gift of this experience because I'm more confident. I'm speaking up now. I'm letting it go now. I'm kinder to myself now. I'm seeing how the universe is training me to be even more present for my kids, for work, for my lover. It's training you in loving your body and staying with the emotions as they arise. Let's say in the bedroom and you have a desire to be a certain way or reach out a certain way or ask for what you desire. Those places that we cut ourselves off. When we integrate those, we can be in the flow, in our masculine, in our feminine. We can be in the dance of emotions. I'm thinking of, when I think about these highs and lows that do not strengthen a relationship, I'm thinking of a partnership, a couple that I coach, deep love, deep respect, yet a drinking problem. Not all the time, but when there was drinking, it wouldn't just drink socially, it would drink to excess. And the kids were completely aware of it. And it was out of control. And it had been building and building and building for over a decade. But it got to the point where the wife finally said, with all the love in my heart, I love you so much, but you need to choose between your drinking or the family. And I love you no matter what you choose. I'm not here to control you or fix you or change you. And this is unworkable. And it was at that point where he saw the highs and the lows of when it was good, and when it was bad, it was bad. And we did what I do with my VIP clients, psychedelic somatic integration work, PSI. This is a way of using plant medicine, very low doses, one-on-one, not a group. And it's not about checking out or getting high. It's just about allowing, the medicine allows for the secondary consciousness of the mind that always wants to like figure it out, the top of the iceberg. It allows us to go underneath the water into the girth of the iceberg, into the primary consciousness, into the feelings that are pre-thought, that don't make any sense, that we have no understanding. There's no need to figure it out. We let go of the mind and the ego of trying to figure it all out. And we just feel. We feel the unfeelable. We face the unfaceable. And we do it together. And it's exquisite. It takes bravery. It takes humility. It takes commitment. And yet watching this gentleman over a series of 3 different immersion weekends, long weekends, feel through that which he couldn't feel through on his own. So we drink. And it would get worse, so we drink more. That pattern we integrated. The pain that he was never able to feel through as a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old, we felt through it all together, all the way through till he was not just integrated from that pain. All the wisdom was there. The insights were there. The discoveries were there. The discernment was there. He was so much wiser. When we do this PSI work, it's not just about getting rid of an emotion. That's not what we do. We literally, like alchemy, take a lower vibrational energy that is held in our body, that our autonomic nervous system is just looping around, and we help the body come home to still point, 0 point. And in so doing, we develop the embodied capacity to be present where we couldn't before, to take a beat where we couldn't take a beat before, to respond, not react, to see the wisdom in it all, to really actually have the knowing, not the understanding, the knowing in our body that, oh my goodness, all of this was actually for my soul's evolution. Sometimes we even have the point of view that, wow, I created all of this for my own ascension. And we no longer feel that life is out to get us. We feel that life has our back. And the way that this marriage has strengthened, the strongest it's ever been in over a decade and a half, the respect, the trust, the calming down, not just of his autonomic nervous system, but hers as well, and how that ripples into more joy and goofiness with the kids and playfulness, and just an overall expansion of patience and presence that makes the kids feel safer, the wife feel respect, turn on. They're more turned on. And this, I mean, not that everything needs to be about sex, but sex is amazing. So why not always sort of bring it full circle to when intimacy is now talked about in the bedroom, the flow of sacred sexual energy, vitality, aliveness, surrender. It's like life is making love to each of them individually, through them, making love to each of them together in this figure eight. It's like off the charts, bonkers, beautiful, bonding, connecting, and it's the beginning of this whole next phase of their lives together, because they were willing to go, okay, you know what? These extremes are unsustainable. This changes now. And they did the work. I also want to say that this doesn't just happen with couples, which it does. It also happens with singles who are in a relationship, but maybe it's about the mom or the dad. I'm thinking about another female client of mine whose issues are all around her mom. Her and her boyfriend / fiance are doing really quite well, but she hadn't talked to her mom in 3 years, and she came to town for a baby shower or something and wanted to see her. And she was like, I don't even know if I can do this. I don't know if I can go to a shower and not like lose my shit. Every time I'm ever around her, she says something that just digs, and I just want to like kill her. Underneath the wanting to kill her, she just wants to cry, because she just has never, ever, ever felt seen, cared for, believed in by her mom, ever. And so we did a series of exercises, one of which was just facing the worst case scenario and really feeling through. There's all, I find, and this is with me too, mostly like with my dad. My mom's been gone for so many decades, but there was still this like, Daddy, don't you see me? And so for her, it's like, Mommy, don't you see me? There's this shred of hope that one day, someday, and then something will happen on the outside, so we'll finally feel good on the inside. So I asked her, not very fun, but I asked her to face the worst case scenario, that what if her mom never, ever, ever saw her? Let's face that, and let's feel that. Because what keeps this going is the hope that one day. So we felt through worst case scenario, and it was sad and scary, but she finally faced it. She finally felt it. And she got to a place of inner calmness. She wasn't happy, but she was calm. And she's like, you know what? You know, the one who I actually have been seeking to be seen and heard all this time is me. Here I am thinking it's my mom this whole time, or my fiance. It's really me. She's really just triggering a wound inside me. Can I look myself in the mirror, in the eye? And can I see myself no matter what? Can I not reject myself no matter what? Can I believe in myself no matter what? It was really all about her. It was fun to blame mom. She was clearly an accurate target, but it was really about her own self-worth. It was really about her own self-love. And as we went through this incredible exercise, she moved more into allowance of herself, moved more into curiosity about what else is possible with what she'd like to create and experience on the planet with herself. She moved more into compassion with herself, that my God, she's done a great job. She was corporate, left corporate to be an entrepreneur, discovered it was a little harder than she thought, which it is. And then so now she's moved back into a different kind of job that's not all the way back to the corporate place where she didn't feel seen or valued, away from how am I going to pay the rent next month? You know, some months are good, some months are not, into a job that's really actually fun for her, because we had a new point of view now. She valued herself more. She was more an allowance of herself. She had more compassion for herself. It was really all about herself the whole time. And as she allowed herself to go, hey, what if I applied for this job? This sounds fun. What if I had the point of view that I could actually like the people I worked with, which was not the point of view before? So we had all these new points of view, all these new openings. And as of the recording of this podcast, she has like a second interview with this really cool job. They'll pay her really a lot of money, and she's really happy about it. And she's not judging herself that she somehow failed the bravery she had to leave corporate and be an entrepreneur. And no, show me one thing in nature that's directly straight. Nothing's linear. I guess man-made things are linear, but nature isn't. So she's like, why am I judging myself that my life is doing all these crazy, wonderful things? Why don't I just be kind to myself? So, and then she, long story short, and then she went to the baby shower, and her mom didn't piss her off for the first time ever. She was even able to be a little funny when her mom did her dig, dig, dig. She just, oh, mom, come here. She had the ability to respond, not react. And her mom no longer takes her power because she no longer gives her mom her power. She's empowered herself. And she saw her mom actually 3 times that trip. She thought, I can only get through the baby shower. She saw her 3 friggin' times. She's free. She's free from that pattern. Yeah. So friggin' proud of her. All right. Let's take another deep breath, all of us, as we go on to the third question from all of you. This one is about transformative relationship crises. Okay, this is what my staff has sent me. Allana, many couples face crises that seem like they could end the relationship, yet these moments sometimes lead to profound growth and renewed commitment. Indeed. What practices can partners adopt to remain open to transformation and discovery, especially when they feel most divided? I'll read that last question again. What practices can partners adopt to remain open to transformation and discovery, especially when they feel most divided? Well, I'm thinking of our last intimacy retreat in Costa Rica, and a couple beginning their year with me by coming to the retreat. So what is my first piece of advice? But I know I only do it once a year, but come to our annual intimacy retreat. Miracles happen. And I'm not using that word lightly. And it's not just me. I do facilitate a damn good retreat, but it's the combination of everyone at the retreat with aligned intentions and the beauty of nature and the blend of practices that I take people through, and the letting go and the integration time when we're in the jungle or out on a catamaran or having dinner together. It's the magic of coming together with like-minded, like-hearted souls on the path of ascension. So that's number one. Number two would be and everybody that works with me signs up for a year. So you're not, I'm not into quick fixes. It's bullshit. Even if you have a great first 3 months, you're going to get challenged. It's more than just a new insight. It's the embodiment of it that makes it stick. I'm not interested in relief. I'm only interested in lasting change. So it would be sign up for coaching with me for a year and include coming to the retreat. So that's like the what, but the how, the like underneath it, what's actually this all about is it's really about seeing the relationship as a gift from the divine, not seeing the relationship or your partner as the problem. I know it's so fun to blame them, isn't it? But it's not them. They're the catalyst, they're the trigger, but they are not the issue. In fact, you were attracted to them, right? You love them at some point anyways. You were so attracted that because they have a unresolved wound and you have an unresolved wound, and there's an energetic match, and that creates the attraction. And then if you can see each other through the eyes of the ego, you're like, it's all your fucking fault, right? And I'm going to leave you. I'm going to find somebody better. I'm going to swipe left, whatever it is. You can try that. Doesn't work. You have the same person in another body in the next relationship over and over and over, probably getting worse, not better. However, if you can put on a different pair of glasses and see each other through the eyes of the divine. I literally was in a diner with a couple, and they'd never done dyads before. So this is another tool that I think is way underutilized or not spoken about. There's a lot of great like imago theory and when, reflective listening, all of this is phenomenal as well. I personally love the dyad because it teaches 2 things. It's not just the speaker, it's the listener. Both people completely evolve. So this couple had been together close to 30 years. Here we are in the diner, and we're talking about working together. We're talking about them coming to the retreat. We're talking about all of it. So I'm sitting with both of them and I'm teaching them the simple diet formula. They're both sitting across from me. And I'm like to the gentleman, tell me something you like about your wife. Just one thing. He said something. And then I said to her, your job is to say thank you. That's your only job. You don't get to interrupt. You don't get to justify. You don't get to say a little rebuttal, nothing. You might agree. You might not agree. It's not about agreement. And this is a huge wake-up call for a lot of couples. Communication has always been about winning, dominating, being right, being in control. A conversation is the goal of a conversation has always been about who wins. I said, what if these dyads are not about winning? They're about seeking understanding. That's it. You might completely disagree. And your only job is to understand that person's point of view, make them feel seen and gotten and understood. That's it. That's the goal. We'll get to resolution of issues later because they tend to resolve themselves when you feel understood. So I'm like, okay, tell me something you like about me, back and forth. And she just said, thank you. And then I said, tell me something, one thing you like about your husband. She went on and on. And I'm just like, one thing. Thank you. So they did this back and forth for about 5 minutes. What this does is it creates an open heart, affinity. You've heard me talk about heart math a lot of times. Coherence. I got to have the beautiful blessing and honor of speaking at their annual conference pre-COVID, and learning even more about how to bring people into heart coherence. So when you speak about what you appreciate, when you speak about what you're grateful for, and you don't think it, you feel it. You can't raise your coherence with thinking. It doesn't work. Feel it when you feel it. So you see that I'm seeing this couple who were not happy start to talk about what they like about each other. And they went straight into love. They would replace my word with love. And I'm like, no, I know you love each other. You wouldn't be here fighting and still in the marriage if you didn't love each other. I know that. But let's get down to the basics. What do you like about each other? They hadn't really thought about that in a while. Back and forth, 5 minutes, only say thank you. Amazing. Second question, tell me something you think we align on. Well, they've been very much focusing on what they don't align on, which is accurate. And we're not going to be Pollyanna or bypass that. That's true. But simultaneously, what's true is what they align on. So tell me something you think we align on. You could be wrong. You could be batshit crazy. Doesn't matter. Just what do you think you align on? They went back and forth, and they were both, you could start to feel the alignment. So instead of being against each other, they were aligned, looking onto the horizon together, shoulder to shoulder. So we did that for about 5 minutes. They had a lot that they aligned on, agreed with. Third question, tell me something you want me to understand that you think I may not fully understand. Because most conflict occurs when you feel misunderstood. You don't get it, right? And the fight occurs. Well, tell me something you want me to understand that you think I may not fully understand. And they went back and forth. And again, all you get to say is thank you. You don't get to be a rebuttal. And they were having a little trouble with that one this time. They wanted to interrupt. They wanted to justify. And I was like, zzz. So this idea of sitting in the fire and not being right and not dominating and not having a rebuttal. Ooh, it's good. But how many times do you, I mean, this is something I have to work on. I interrupt. Oh, they'll say something just cruel, passive aggressive, bad, crazy, like that. And I just have to go, thank you, which means I understand. Does not mean I agree. So helping them navigate that, something you want me to understand that you think I may not fully understand. And the other one doesn't get to interrupt. They do get to say thank you when a phrase is done, but that doesn't mean the other person has to shut up. They can keep talking. Thank you, right? It just means I understood that part. I understood that part. If they didn't, they'd say, clarify that, summarize that, this kind of thing. The tears started. And they said things to each other that the other one had never heard, because the other one would interrupt or blame or leave or blow up or check out, or they had quite their pattern in place. They'd never actually heard and thus understood each other's point of view and life, of what it was like to be the other person, because they were so invested in being right or being in control. Yeah. And so that was, I could see them, literally their bodies soften, and the tears and the touch of a shoulder, the touch of an arm, and then thank you. And a little bit, they broke the rules. They'd say something like, I never knew that. So I'm like, Thank you. But that was important that the other one felt so heard. And then the last question I asked them, and I could go on for days with questions. I have hundreds of questions. In fact, I have a journal. You can go to my website, allanapratt.com, under shop. There's a book called Intimate Reflections. And it's a journal. It's beautiful. It's a big coffee table book. And it's got a different dyad question every day to ask yourself or to use in partnership with your child, your beloved, whoever. And there's a little quote at the bottom. Sometimes as I go through these questions and these quotes, I'm like, dang, these are good. Who wrote that? So I was really in a channeling state as I did this. I'm very proud of it. So that's another tool you could use regarding these dyads. But I asked them the last question. Tell me something you're afraid to tell me. And I said, you know the rules. You're only allowed to say thank you, no interrupting. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I mean, I'm just getting to know you. I don't need to know what, you're afraid to tell each other. I'll be back in, 10 minutes. So I go to the bathroom. I come back. I'm looking over. They are more connected. Their bodies are facing each other. They were kind of doing this shoulder to shoulder when we first started. And I went over and I'm like, how are you doing? They're like, 10 more minutes. So I go back to the bathroom, out to the front, whatever. They come back and they are both beaming, crying happy tears. They're like, we in 28 years have never communicated in this way, never felt this connected, never felt this heard, never felt this understood. Oh my God. So that's a very initial way that I can support, as the question is here, what practices can partners adopt to remain open to transformation and discovery, especially when they feel most divided, is this very structured form of communication that allows for no rebuttals, no defensiveness, no blaming, no leaving, right? Both people are trained to, and it's a training. It's a practice. It's not a destination. It's not one dyad and you're done. It's a way of being to get through difficult conversations. But it's also, once you get practice at this, it's also a delicious way to deepen intimacy and deliciousness and eroticism and rapture with each other. Because I was giving you examples because this podcast is mostly about, what is the gift in the shit show, right? How do we navigate conflict and emotional extremes and relationship crisis, this kind of thing. But you can also use this practice to deepen and explore sacred sexuality. Like, tell me something that turns you on. Tell me something about you and oral sex. Tell me about a sexual fantasy. You can also use it to support people in navigating aging or when the empty nest, the kids leave home, or when your parents get old and they're, how are we going to handle taking care of them when they have Alzheimer's? These kind of charged conversations. You can also use it for these, like, tell me something about you and your mom dying. When your mom dies or when your dad dies. Tell me something about you and when the kids go off to college. Tell me, there's so many tell me's that can deepen intimacy. And you think you know who your partner is. This couple had known each other 28 years, and there still are things that they're discovering about each other because we change. Thank God. We're not here to be the same person our whole life, like a robot. No, who your partner was 5 days ago, 5 minutes ago, 5 years ago, 5 decades ago, I suppose, if you're still together, they're different. Be curious. Could you stop being in your head like a know-it-all, like you know everything, and be literally soften the front of your body and be open and curious about who is your partner becoming? See them through the eyes of the divine, of an ever-evolving, ever-changing, ever-growing, ever-ascending being. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Make space for them to be somebody new. And that'll make it safe for them to explore and risk and feel and not be judged. And so these dyads are an incredible practice. I recommend them once a week. And if you're single, do it with yourself. Do it with a friend. There's a truth, I'm going to say, inside of you that is deeper than your head. I'm sure you're very smart, and that's lovely. But that's not where new, innovative truths arise. Those arise out of your heart, out of your body, out of the divine in, as, and through you, not out of the computer in your head, okay? The file folders in your head. You already know that. You can rehash that over and over and over, but that's not who you are. That's just what you've learned. Who you are is an ever-evolving, incredible mystery. and to hold yourself with that much reverence and to hold your partner with that much reverence. Like, who is my partner today? I wonder. I choose to be open-hearted and curious. I choose to let go of assumptions and conclusions and judgments. All those are based in trying to be safe, trying to look good, trying to be right. But if we don't need to do that anymore, if we can just be, then we don't need to be right. We don't need to be in control. We don't need to shut down. We can be brave and open up. To me, this is I'm here to teach what I'm here to learn. So it is my daily humbled practice to walk my talk and to be this and give this gift to my partner and to facilitate this with incredible couples and singles in their worlds and watch true transformation arise. It's exquisite. So these are just a few of the points of view and topics and practices that we do here at, I don't know what we call it here, AllanaPratt.com, here at Intimate Conversations, here in this realm of beautiful, intimate adventures. Yeah. So I hope this supported you. Thank you for your questions. I love answering them once a month. The interviews this month are extraordinary regarding what is the gift in the shit show and the dance of polarity, and not to get too hung up on too much pleasure, too much bliss, too much perfection. No, that's not real, right? Because if we are doing that, we're simultaneously resisting, avoiding anything negative or anything quote unquote uncomfortable. There are gifts in what's uncomfortable. And a little too much pleasure, you forget to pay the taxes or take out the trash or what have you. So too much pleasure is not a healthy thing. And resisting pain, also not healthy. But when we're in balance and we see the gift in the pain and we see the detriment in a little too much Haagen-Dazs ice cream, we stay present. We become our best self and we are our best gift to those whom we love. And we're here to give our greatest gift to humanity. So thank you for being with us on Intimate Conversations yet another week. Know that if you'd like to connect with me, it's called an Intimacy Breakthrough Experience. There is a code in the show notes so that you can have a scholarship for being a listener of Intimate Conversations and you can connect with me one-on-one. I would love it. It would be an honor and a privilege to dive deep and reveal whatever blind spots are in the way of you having deeper connection, intimacy, and love in your life. And as usual here on Intimate Conversations, thank you. Thank you for the honor of loving the shit out of you. Until next week. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love to life. Okay, I've never done a video in the cold plunge with you, but here I am in the cold plunge. 47. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the podcast about, I've never talked in the hot plunge, cold plunge, so I can't even talk. What is the gift in the shit show? Plunging every day actually doesn't force me, encourages me to do what's hard. If I can do 3 minutes every morning, then I can do anything. So I hope the questions that I answered were supportive to the situations you're in. I do this because I need to pray. I can get through it. And a lot is going on. You'll learn in upcoming podcasts of the shifts that I'm going through in my relationship with Scott. And again, if we go into a shit show looking for shit, we're going to find shit. We're going to feel like shit. We're probably going to give shit. But if we go into a shit show, kind of like a big pile of shit, like, where's the pony? There must be a pony in here somewhere, right? And it's like, look for the gift. Look for the message. We'll find that too, because your point of view creates your reality. So if I can help you get through a shit show and not to downplay how tough it is on you at all, because shit shows are meant to be ego deaths. They're meant to make you face the hardest things you've ever faced, feel what you consider to be unfeelable. But on the other side, once you've integrated that, you have wholeness. You don't seek wholeness. You are wholeness. You are safety. You don't seek safety. You are self-worth. You don't seek approval. And a miracle can occur, which has occurred in my life, for which I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for every week on Intimate Conversations. And I'm very proud of myself that this is my first cold plunge video ever. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, I'm looking at the time. I still have a minute to go, but I'm not going to torture you through that because about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes 45 sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes then I just start to like shake and my body's like, peace out. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I love you.